Usually these days, when we talk about charity, what we're talking about is almsgiving, giving something to those in need, whether it be money or clothing or food. And we do this out of love for this other person. But we should also remember that this isn't only an act of love, this is also an act of justice. St. John Chrysostom says, not to enable the poor to share in our goods is to steal from them and deprive them of life. The goods that we possess are theirs, not ours. We know as Christians that our wealth, whatever that wealth may be, whether it be our time, our food, our money, clothing, it's to be shared in love of God for the good of God's people, recognizing their dignity and, yeah, broadening the heart. Now, imagine then that somebody gives you something good in the name of God out of what they have been given by God, because all good things ultimately come from Him. It helps us then to grow in love of God and also love of our neighbor. It expands the heart of the one giving and the one receiving. And so then it is a perfect fulfilling of the law, because it is for love of God and love of neighbor on the part of the one giving, and the one who receives is increased in their love through gratitude for God and for their neighbor. So then almsgiving helps us to do what God has asked of us. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And always remember that Christ at the Last Supper asks us to go beyond simply loving our neighbor as ourselves. But he says, love one another as I have loved you. So then we're called to love with that same love with which Christ has loved us, a love which is generous and lavish. We also remember in the Gospel, I think it's the Gospel of Luke, Jesus says, give alms of those things which are within, and everything will be clean for you. So here we see why almsgiving is associated with Lent, because Lent is a time that is about forgiveness and reconciliation, both with God and with our neighbor. So then, if everything will be clean for you through the giving of alms, there is something about it which is restorative, something about it which is about forgiveness. Lent and almsgiving are both about forgiveness, and as a result, they are both about love. So give your time to the lonely, give your forgiveness to those who have wronged you, give your money to the poor, food and clothing, etc. And remember that almsgiving is not simply for Lent, but something for life and eternal life at that. May God bless you, and may you have a happy Lent.